What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I've got another very important AMC update to bring all of you this evening. So what we're going to be covering in this update is a little bit of the Ortex short interest and utilization data, kind of where we are with this type of data at the current time. We did end up seeing a little bit of a step up in the cost to borrow today, which isn't something we've seen in a very, very long time. So that could be taken as a pretty good sign of things to come in terms of a trend of cost to borrow heading up over the next couple of weeks and months. But the main couple of things that we really need to go over in this video is, one, there's kind of some new evidence coming out of some more dark pool manipulation going on with Deutsche Bank. They've just been fined. They've had the judgment levied against them, and I want to explain to you guys exactly what's going on and what these institutions are doing to their customers' orders. Now, the second thing is I saw this getting spread around a lot today, so I took a little bit of a look into it. This MELVIN Capital nickel short situation, it looks to be like it just came from a meme account. It's just fake, so we're going to touch on that as well. And additionally, we are seeing margin calls getting fired off left and right in this marketplace. We have UBS issuing margin calls. We have Credit Suisse issuing margin calls. And now we have a bunch of Chinese institutions getting margin called on their nickel short positions. So we've got a lot of interesting situations to talk about in this update. So if you guys enjoyed the information and analysis that I provide for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And again, guys, this is the last week where you can get those free 1348 alerts in the Discord. So that is going to be wrapping up this week. The link to that is linked down in the description below. If you are interested in it, make sure you go check that out. After this week is up, we are going to be taking away that free option, and there's going to be a small fee associated with it. So make sure you guys get in before we end up cutting that off so you can learn and kind of get in on this strategy that everybody is really, really succeeding with. So AMC right here, we got 1539 close, up about 1.18% on the day. We did get as high as $16.26 in the intraday trading period. And it did look like we were really going to have a nice, solid stair-stepping up day. But the market started to sell off. And as usual, AMC likes to follow the market unless there's something crazy going on. There's a massive imbalance of supply and demand. But today, we saw pretty normal for AMC conditions in the overall market. And we did see it kind of sell off into the end of the day. So when we come over to the Ortex update over here, let me just give a quick refresh here so we make sure we have the most up-to-date data. 100% utilization over here, which I still think isn't necessarily entirely accurate. It is getting to those levels, but right now it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We do have the average cost to borrow today at 1.82%, with the high cost to borrow on AMC of 3.14%. Pretty interesting here. We've been seeing that average cost to borrow be about 1.47 to 1.52 over the last couple of weeks. So now that we're seeing it start to step up, well, this could signify that the shorts are kind of getting a little bit more pressure put on them in terms of the amount of money that they have to pay to kind of manage and maintain these short positions. But right now, they're still able to really do this. We're going to need to see a more significant increase in the cost to borrow to really make a meaningful difference. Now, the estimated short interest here, 20.98%. We have 108.03 million shares estimated to be sold short, and shares on loan, 124 million. So there's a little less than 20 million shares that are available, or I think it's 14 million shares here. Sorry, my math skills aren't great right now. It's been a long day, but they do have a decent amount of shares that they can use to kind of come out and short AMC right now if they choose to do so, which I do see them doing at some point. And again, like I've been saying in a lot of these videos, it's going to come down to if retail investors and institutional long holders are willing to come out and counteract this short pressure coming into the stock. Now, let's go over some of this dark pool manipulation. So shout out to Dave Lauer for posting this on his Twitter. That is how I found this. But this news release right here, March 8th, FINRA fines Deutsche Bank Securities, Inc. $2 million for best execution violations. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, does it? Well, that's kind of how these fines go. They just pay the fine, it's the cost of doing business, and they continue on manipulating the orders. So FINRA announced today that it has fined Deutsche Bank $2 million for failing to comply with its obligation to seek best execution for its customers' orders. The duty to seek best execution for customer orders is a fundamental obligation of any broker-dealer that buys or sells securities on behalf of customers, said Jessica Hopper, Executive VP and Head of FINRA's Department Department of Enforcement. So essentially what they've done here is when we come and take a look at essentially what the allegations are, during January 2014 to May 2019, the relevant period, Deutsche Bank Securities owned and operated an alternative trading system, ATS, known as SuperX. When routing customer orders to exchanges through its smart order router, the firm routed its customers' marketable orders to SuperX before routing any part of the order to an exchange unless customers opted out of this routing preference. This preference was also known as the SuperX ping. Now, when we take a look here down below, the SuperX ping, however, created an inherent delay for orders that were not fully executed in the firm's alternative trading system, ATS. The delay subjected orders to potentially lower fill rates. In fact, the firm's best execution committee reviewed reports that showed lower fill rates in SuperX than orders routed to the exchanges. What they're essentially saying here is that, one, they're not getting best execution. This is not really allowing these orders to participate in price discovery, and it's really manipulating the price of any security that is going through these dark pools. So FINRA saying, hey, yep, this is going on. And again, guys, the apes are not wrong. With the amount of dark pool volume and the off-exchange trading that we're seeing in AMC on a day-to-day basis, obviously, there is not enough price discovery going on. Now, let's take a brief look at what's going on with this Melvin Capital situation and this nickel short. It's coming from this Twitter page right here. This Twitter page is notoriously famous for basically making jokes and memes. This is not a source of information. There's no source behind this. Melvin Capital's Gabe Plotkin was reportedly short $100 million worth of nickel shortly before the price rallied 250%. I highly doubt that this happened. When you think about what Melvin Capital's been doing over the last couple of months, they actually have kind of participated in only a long-only portfolio, so it wouldn't make sense for them to be short nickel. And again, there's really no source behind this, so I would just kind of take this as a meme and a joke to kind of get people's attention for clicks and likes. Now, let's get into the situation with some of these Chinese margin calls that have been going on an actual nickel short squeeze in these companies that are actually getting affected by this. So right here, one of China's largest banks fails to pay margin call after today's monster nickel squeeze. Around the time Peabody was served with a $534 million margin call on its hedging coal futures short, which it funded with the new $150 million unsecured 10% revolver from Goldman Sachs. One of China's largest banks was also served with a margin call for hundreds of millions of dollars on a nickel short gone terribly wrong after the price of nickel did, well, this right here, where it absolutely skyrockets. Now, the one thing that I want you guys to pay attention here is, however, unlike Peabody, a unit of China Construction Bank Corp, one of China's big four banks, was given additional time by the London Metal Exchange to pay hundreds of millions of dollars of margin calls. What does this sound exactly like? The Archegos situation that we've been going over in these videos over the last couple of days. They essentially said, no, we're not going to answer these calls. We're kind of going to give you a little bit of time in order to meet these calls in order for your fund to not essentially implode. The reason why they're doing this is because these banks that are allowing these institutions to get so over leveraged on a lot of these positions, that's a giant revenue source for a lot of these financial institutions. If their clients go bankrupt, then they no longer are generating revenue from them. And that is not something that they want to happen. They essentially want everybody to be able to kind of hold their positions, be all right, so that they can come back the next day, week, month, or year and lever up on even more positions, and the financial institutions can just collect their fees. So that is mainly going to wrap up this situation with AMC and all of these different margin calls and these FINRA dark pool manipulation lawsuits essentially going through. If you guys enjoyed the information and analysis that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. So I hope you guys are having a great evening, and I'll see you guys in the next one.